Hi, I'm Lauren and welcome to my craft room. Today I am hopping along with Team Tiny again with our hashtag driven hop, and this time we are casing a fellow Team Tiny creator, which means we are either copying the card exactly or we're taking inspiration from a card. And I am copying a fellow crafter named Annette, and she is at Wayfaring Panda, and she made this adorable swing card, which is a different type of fold for an A2 card. So this is my card, and this is Annette's card. And follow along on the video to see how I put it together, and I will also have the Wayfaring Panda video link below in my description. First, I'm going to start with the base of my card, and I'm trimming a normal 8.5 by 11 size of this orange cardstock in half to get a 8.5 by 5.5 card. And I'm scoring at 2 1/8, and then again at 4 1/4. And I flipped the paper over because you are folding a mountain and a valley fold, so I flipped it over to help with the creasing on my paper trimmer slash scorer. And I'm using my Lawn Fawn bone folder to just make sure that those creases are nicely creased. And now I'm going to take one of these scallop circle dies. This is from the layered circle stackables from Stampin' Up. And I'm centering on my paper and also centering the die to make sure that it's right in the middle. And I'm going to layer my plate so that it only cuts up to that first 2 1/8 score line. And once I have that out, you'll see it creates this really cute little kind of pop open window. This swing, I've never called it a swing card before, but Annette called it a swing card, so that's what we're going with. And I'm gonna cut some various different scallops and circles in different colors just to add some fun to my card. I'm gonna cut a scallop circle in yellow to layer on the front. I'm also going to cut a couple white circles, one with no scallop is also going to be on the front, and 2 that I'm going to use on the inside of my card to do some sentiment stamping. I also cut a larger yellow scallop circle that will be used on the inside of the card. I cut 2 pieces of this fun candy corn pattern paper that's in my Halloween stash. It's very old. I've had it since I started crafting over 10 years ago. And I cut 2 sheets to 4 5 1/4, so it's slightly smaller than A2 size. And I used my scallop circle, that's the same one from the original fold, right in the center in the same spot, so that way I could glue on my paper and it would not interfere with that circle scallop. Also, I added some sparkle to my papers, and I'm using Fun Stamper's Journey Silks in Peaches and Cream, Orange Rave, Whipped Cream, and Sparkle Silk, which is a clear, sparkly glitter liquid. It's a splatter. Here I am just trimming to make sure they fit and create a nice little border around the panel, just like it shows here in the front. And I'm using my Tombow liquid glue to adhere those down. I'm also gluing down the inside panel, which is the other piece of paper that is 4 by 5 1/4 on the inside. Now I'm gluing on some of those circles I cut out. I used the smaller scallop yellow circle on the front of my little swing scallop, and I'm using the larger one on the back. Next, I'm going to stamp my inside sentiments for my card. I'm using Pick of the Patch from Lawn Fawn, and it's a little bit long, this sentiment, for this scallop circle, so I'm inking only half of it. I'm doing the second part of the sentiment, and then I'm going to clean that off. And ink up the first part of the sentiment to stamp in front. I'm using my little cleaner sponge to make sure that there is no ink left. And I'm also going to use a post-it note just in case there's any type of ink or water left on my stamp. I don't want it to mess up my sentiment. And then I'm going to stamp "You're" right above that. So it's a cute little sentiment of "You're the pick of the patch." Now I have this retired set from Fawn called Critters in Costume, and there's this little stamp trio of candy corn that I thought would go perfect with this card with my pattern paper. So I'm stamping it in various spots on that same scallop circle with carrot ink, and I'm going to glue that to the back of this swing circle. And then I'm also going to stamp "Happy Halloween" in that carrot ink onto the other scallop circle, which will be hidden when the card is closed. I wanted to leave some space to sign my name when I'm done, so I put my sentiment a little high, and I'm going to use some purple tape to make sure it's centered and hidden behind the swing part of this card. And then I realized that I didn't do a very good job centering it with the scallop lines, so luckily it's wet glue and I can tweak it a little and make sure the sentiment is straight. Now I'm going to pop up this white circle onto the front of my card, and I'm going to be layering my stamped images on this front piece. I'm just using some foam tape to make sure it's nice and sturdy, as I'm going to be applying images on top. So here are the images that I colored and cut from Pick of the Patch. I did the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin and some of the seed guts, 2 squirrels, and 2 tools used for carving pumpkins. And I'm going to play out with the layout here, just trying to figure out how exactly I want them all to go onto the card. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, but I liked how it looked with the seeds in front of the pumpkin. And I'm going to go ahead and use wet glue to glue on the jack-o'-lantern and its top little piece. And I have 1 squirrel holding the carving knife and 1 squirrel will be holding the spatula. At first I was going to put the knife with the squirrel here, but I didn't like how it covered the jack-o'-lantern so much, so I decided to go with the other squirrel holding it. And I'm just going to use my little paper trimmers here to cut a little slit inside of next to the arm of the squirrel so she can hold that knife better. And I'm also going to do the same to the other squirrel, actually above the arm and behind the head, so the squirrel on the left can hold that spatula. I decided to pop up using my dimensionals, the squirrel with a knife as well as the pumpkin guts. I use both the regular dimensionals and the small ones, which are really great for these tiny little stamped images. And that just gives my card a little bit more depth, like the squirrel is actually closer to you as the card reader rather than the images in the back. I really liked how it turned out. The splatter is cute and the squirrels are cute, but I wanted to add just a little more bling. So I'm using these Fun Stamper Journey rainbow drops in the orange and yellows, and I'm just placing them in random spots on the card. It's kind of cool to be able to put some of these on what would be considered the inside of the card, since some of the inside is showing because of this really cool swing style fold of this card. I'm using my jewel picker and my Tombow glue to put those jewels in place. I really like this tool. It makes being able to glue my jewels and embellishments a lot easier. I really liked how it turned out, and I'm thankful to Annette for showing me this really neat fold. If you like this video, please hit like, and if you want to continue seeing content from me, please hit subscribe. Thanks so much and have a great day.